Hey everybody, this is Jim at SP500chart.com. It's about 4:15 on May 28th, 2014. Let me read this to you, then we'll take a look at the chart. The website in this video are for educational purposes only, and nothing stated at the side or in the video is intended to be used as investment advice. I can draw lines on charts, but you have to draw your own conclusions from your own research and make investment decisions that are suitable for your personal financial situation. I am not a licensed financial professional. I'm just a guy who draws lines on charts. So let's take a look. Well, we got good news and bad news. The bad news isn't horrible, and the good news isn't absolutely wonderful. But the good news is we are still over 1900, and if you look back in the history of the S&P, I don't think we ever closed over 1900, and here we've done it 2 days in a row. So yeah, we almost did it back in the early part of April, but not quite. We tagged it in the middle of May, but now we close over it for the second day in a row. Now, the bad news is, as you can see here, our little thin and narrow rising channel broke today pretty early on, back tested a couple times, then in the middle, not in the middle, in the latter part of the trading session there near the end, you can see it gave up about 4 or 5 points pretty quickly, probably indicative of a likely a bit of downside that we'll experience. Would not surprise me if we get into a little bit more of that tomorrow. But the reason I say that that all is not lost is that a lot of times those initial narrow channels that develop after you get over an obstacle, and in this case I would call it this line right here, a lot of times those initial moves to the upside end up being just a smaller channel within a larger context. And I don't know what this one might be quite yet, but for by way of illustration, maybe we look back at this at some point and we say, no, this was just our little inner channel, and our actual channel that we establish looks more like this. And we've seen this happen before. So again, this is broken, but we don't know where it's going to find support. I'd like to find support at this purple neckline right here. I really would. I'm calling this a neckline. I guess it's as good as anything else I could call it. And there's a little debate, you could say, as to whether or not this is the neckline of a fairly good-sized continuation pattern here, or would that be the neckline? That's open to honest debate. But I'm going to choose to go with this one, which might mean we could dip down under this a little bit. As long as we recover and get back up, I don't think that's going to be too difficult to work through. So just to make a long story short, here we've had a nice 1, 2, 3, 4-day run, getting the S&P up over 1900. We closed today down just a little bit from yesterday's close, but looking like we might need to retrace just a little bit. If and when we do that, let's see if we get picked up on this level right here, which is at about 1903 and change tomorrow, or if it's a little deeper, let's see if we get picked up on this. I'm not going to call this a trend line because it's not. It's only got 1 point, but it is a parallel to this upper line. So it's possible that we could be looking at, I'm going to make that really, really dim. It's possible that we could be looking at the establishing of a larger channel. And that would be great if we were, because if we were just going to go up in this little narrow thing, then that's just begging for disaster. these nice moves up need to be accompanied by pauses in the action. So, you know, coming down a bit tomorrow, flat to sideways to slightly down over the next day and a half wouldn't be any big deal. I would not be the least bit surprised to see that happen. So let me just finish this video by saying this. Over the next couple of days, the goal here, if you're a chartist or a chart reader, should be where do we get the next bounce on the next leg up. Once we establish that, then we have more information for us to possibly place a line such as this in a more accurate position. So guys, there you have it. I mean, over 1900, that's great, but showing a little signs of weakness. The market looking a little, just a little bit extended on the 5 and 10 minute chart. But in the grand scheme of things, if you back out and you look at this big consolidation pattern, which I'm now calling it, though I would like to see 1920 before I lock in too much to that idea. We have yet to get more than 1% over this line right here. But you can see that that this big, almost 13-week-long pattern, that this should foretell, if we get that positive move, should foretell of a fairly sizable positive move. And again, I'm thinking this could take us up very close to 2,000 in the S&P. So guys, there's your video for May 28th, 2014. Thanks for taking time out of your day to watch it. I really do appreciate your support. Take care.